Short barrels, 9mm versus 38 special, and what I have today is our Sellier and Bellot XRG ammunition. Pretty inexpensive ammunition. I paid about $20 a box for 25, and there's no lead involved. So it's a solid copper hollow point. So our 9mm is a 100 grain rated at 13-12 feet per second. Our 38 special is a 110 grain rated at 11-15 feet per second. Appears that both are standard pressure. So I'm going to use my Taurus firearms for this test, my G2C, Taurus G2C 3.2-inch barrel versus my Taurus 605 357 mag with a 2-inch barrel. I really like comparing these two firearms just because they have identical overall bullet travel in those guns. All the two I have for comparison, these are the closest. Also, they both weigh 20 ounces, so should be a pretty good comparison to compare these two. So I'm going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy I get at the same time. Then I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test. So I'm just going to go into plain clear ballistics, see what the best potential is of these rounds. And then after that, I'm going to go into more of a real world simulation where I put on 4 layers of denim on the front of here. And after 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent our pectoral muscle, I'm going to put in a 1/4 inch medium density fiber bore to represent hitting ribs or sternum. And then I'm going to shoot at my steel silhouette to see what kind of practical accuracy I can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 9mm 100 grain hollow point rated at 13-12 feet per second. I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. Let's see how close we get to 13-12 feet per second. 1242, 1251, 1256, 1237, 1223. Not bad. Definitely below rated velocity, but it is a short barrel. Our 38 special here, we're rated at 11-15 feet per second. It's a little bit heavier bullet, 110 grain, probably rated through a longer barrel. But let's see how close we get to 11-15 feet per second. My 2-inch snub here. 986, 1014, 1031, 988. 1037, not particularly consistent, but very powerful for a 38 special standard pressure from a 2-inch barrel. So that's impressive in and of itself. Let's hit our ballistics gel block with these and see how they compare. All right, let's do our best potential test, just plain clear ballistics. Here's our 9mm. Let's hit it with our 38 special. Let's go take a look. All right, that is some interesting results, to say the least. So we got really good damage, and we started expanding right at 2 inches with our 9mm. And we penetrated about 13¼ inches, and we have really good expansion. Now with our 38 special, it appears we have no expansion. I expected for a lot better with that type of velocity we were working with. And right here, maybe at about 6 inches, we started to tumble. So we're seeing marks indicating tumbling there. And we went to about 14¾ inches of penetration. So that's not a good start to that 38 special. That's just very interesting that that we didn't get expansion. So let's put on our MDF and our denim and see how they compare that way. All right, denim and MDF. 9mm, see how this does. Try our 38 special now. All right, denim and MDF 38 special. Let's see how this compares. Let's go take a look. All right, so here is our MDF piece, and what we can see here is where we impacted with the 9mm, it was already expanded massive before it hit this. So in this first 3 inches here, it was expanding huge. The 38 special not so much. But we did get expansion with both that time. However, our penetration is very, very limited here. What we're seeing here with our 9mm, a penetration of about 10 1/4, and with our 38 Special about 9 inches. So I had high hopes for this ammunition because of the price point here, but I'm just not seeing anything that's really impressive. Even if you could take that 38 Special round and say, you know what, maybe it was just that round was a bad round and it didn't expand. Even not expanding it, we didn't get that much penetration. And with expansion, we can see that MDF generally doesn't change the penetration any more than 2 inches. So even if we say we were at 9 inches, if we didn't have that MDF in there, we'd probably be at like 11 if it expanded. So we got some big expansion and all of that, but I'm just not seeing anything that looks too impressive about this. So let me shoot at my steel silhouette and see what we get for accuracy. All right, I'm just gonna see what kind of quick shooting accuracy I can get from 12 yards. Just go from low ready here. Pull up, get a sight picture, and pop off a few rounds. So let's see what I can get here with our 9mm. All right. As you might expect, I'm not really connecting with those sights very well, but you know, not too bad. 38 Special, same thing. All right, interesting. Let me back it up a little bit. All right, 25 yards from the target. Just gonna aim center mass, more of a slow fire. Pop off a few rounds, see what we get. All right, reasonably accurate. 38 Special. All right, let me back up just a little bit more. All right, I am 75 yards from the target. A lot of people will say that's a ridiculous distance to fire, but it's unfortunate nowadays that there are situations becoming increasingly more likely that you're going to need to take a long shot. You know, it's not a concealed carry magazine where a guy in a gas station parking lot is coming at you with a crowbar anymore. There's situations where you need to take some longer shots and you need to have that ability. So I'm going to shoot from 75 yards. And another point here is, you know, you can't necessarily take capacity for granted, because it doesn't necessarily make it you're more likely to hit your mark. But let's start with our 9mm here, 3.2-inch barrel. I'm just going to aim center mass, see if I can get any hits on that steel from 75 yards. All right, I felt like it kind of tended to want to drift to the right for me. I didn't really change my hold that much. It's hard to see those impacts at that distance because they're not expanding out like a lead core, but it did seem a little bit off at that distance. So 38 Special, 2-inch barrel, 75 yards. See what I can get here. All right, let me load up some more. All right, those misses were all on me. Both times I missed that. Like the first one, I got a little bit of Taurus trigger phenomenon where, because the trigger goes so far back to the frame, I felt my finger go under it and pinch a little bit, pulling it down. and that one I threw off a little bit to the right. I was just firing too fast, but 8 out of 10, 80% accuracy with 2-inch snub at 75 yards. I'm going to say that, you know, I don't know if it would stop a threat, depending on the threat, but you know, it probably caused some hurting on an attacker that's hell-bent on doing a lot of damage. But what I'm seeing here today, ballistic performance-wise, you know, it's relatively accurate ammo. You know, I saw it 5 yards and I saw it 75, 25, all that. You know, there's nothing really off about its accuracy. Sometimes I see that something's really far off. But our ballistic performance here for our terminal ballistics was iffy, you know. It's one of those things, you know, like the FBI statistics, they say 12 inches minimum because they're thinking, you know, if you have to shoot from the side, you know, the 1986 FBI shootout is where they kind of came up with those numbers. The silver tips were going through the arms, 9mm Winchester silver tips, they were stopping short. And they found that, you know, ammo like that was, you know, I don't know, 9-10 inches in gel, maybe 8 inches. So you need to have 12 inches minimum to go through the side like that. So what that means is, you know, if you had to stop an attacker from the side, ammo like this probably wouldn't work. But if, you know, you're at close range, somebody's attacking you and you were boom, 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 like straight on, this ammo would work fine. And it probably would do a lot of damage, definitely not over penetrate. So is it something I want to carry? No, because I would rather have lead that is more dense, that if it's not going to expand, it's going to plow through a lot deeper. You know, I carried this gun out today and I carried 38 plus P Spear Gold Dot 125 grain. Decent choice. But, you know, it's not the worst ammunition that there is. It would probably work in most situations. So that's what you get today with our short barrel test with the SNB Sellier and Bellot XRG, lead-free ammunition, lead-free hollow points. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.